Hey guys, so today I wanted to do a video all about my Chanel Jumbo Flap bag. This one's from 2009. I will talk about all how I got it and all those details, tips on how to buy stuff like that, the reason why I did, what makes mine super special, and how much I love it. As well as just some information about this one in general, like a little review. I've had this for a little while. Like I said in my last video, my hourglass blush video, when I was showing this in my outfit of the day, I've been a little hesitant to carry it. It's just one of those things that's like, that's just a big purchase, you know? And first of all, before I get started, I just want to say, if you don't want to hear like this big crazy purse story, and you don't want to hear a lot of yapping about handbags and a lot of rambling about this particular one and why, then you may want to just like scoot on out and I'll just see you next time, because I will totally understand and I will catch you on the next beauty video. But I feel like this is something that I'm going to be carrying a lot and I wanted to sort of tell you guys about it, and maybe it'll make you familiar with them a little more if you were considering this. It's a big purchase. Okay, so a little bit about this one. It's a jumbo single flap. It's from 2009. It's one of the last ones that had the, well, it is from the last year, that had the real gold, gold-plated hardware. Now, if you get the new, I mean, they look exactly like this, the jumbo. It's the same size. They look exactly the same from the outside. Only difference is that on these that are a little older, the C's are flat. On the newer ones, the C's are a little, I don't know, I want to say narrow. They're just more like, instead of being flat on top, they're bubbled up. And you can see this one has the little mark. It's kind of like a, I'll say a maker's mark. What's that called? When something is like, to show what kind of metal it is, that they stamp it. If your C's don't have that, then it's not gold plated, even if it's gold. So after 2009, all the ones that are even gold are just gold colored metal, same as the silver. It's just silver colored metal. I kind of know a ridiculous amount about Chanel bags. I've been looking at them and sort of contemplating this for a long time. We have two Chanel boutiques that are fairly close by, and so over the years I've looked at them a lot and kind of figured out the ones that I wanted, and it's not a purchase that you would just go in and settle for something and say, oh, well, that's not exactly what I want. I'll go ahead and get that. You know, it's expensive, so you want to be sure. You really want to know exactly what you want, and then you want to plan for it. I'm the type where, you know, every month I save a big percentage of what I make because I'm just a saver. That, and you have to, you know, you kind of have to. But, you know, what's left over goes to bills or whatever, and then if I have a chunk left over that I can comfortably spend within, then I'll get something. I mean, don't go into debt over a handbag. Don't feel like you have to get something. Don't let it make you upset if you don't have it. Just plan. You have the rest of your life. You have whenever you want to get one. You know, they're not going anywhere. So the thing with these, though, is that they are an investment. The price goes up every year. The jumbo flat bags like this, that's the black caviar, probably the most popular style, so they can be hard to find, especially if you want a particular type. I remember like 4 years ago when I went and looked at them in the boutique, I looked at this exact style, and it was before they discontinued the single flaps. Which that's what this is, and I'll explain that in a moment. They look the same on the outside, it's just the interior has that extra flap. I went and looked at those and I fell in love with the single flap version. Well, let me back up. The first time I went and looked, I was looking at the little wallet on a chain, and then I ended up looking at these. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, I fell in love with the ones that were just the single flap, whatever. I didn't know anything about the gold by then. That was after 2009, so they weren't doing the gold-plated hardware anyways, but I didn't know anything about that. I knew I liked that bag. I mean, that's not a purchase. You don't just go and say, hey, yeah, let me buy that. I mean, no matter how much money you have, that's just silly, in my opinion. It's something to me that I was just looking around and I just thought, okay, you know, well, they'll always have these, whatever. I went back right around the time that they had discontinued the flap, or the single flap, which I believe was in like around 2012, and I'll show you what I mean. Like on the inside of this one, you see how it doesn't have that extra flap, and you see how the grommets are like side by side. Now I believe they're up and down. You can see it has like the, you know, it's basically like the interior of the other one, except that the double flaps now have another flap that go over it and then snap again. So when you want to get in the bag, you have to open this and then you have to open the other flap. Well, when I looked at them again, I remember I was like, well, what is, you know, I didn't like it. They look exactly the same from the outside, and I believe maybe some of them have, I'm not as familiar, but I believe that the grommets are, instead of side by side, they're front and back. So it did add some weight to the bag, and the sales girl did tell me that, and it was just, you know, it was just too much trouble. I remember thinking, oh, that's weird, and I was looking at a tan one, and I really liked the tan. So then last year, when my friend and I were shopping again, I remember looking at the tan, because or the nude, I always thought about that bag. And they had it in lambskin, and the lambskin is the leather this is caviar. It's a little more durable. The lambskin is the one that's just super smooth. And I remember I was like strongly considering getting it, and I just thought, this is a lot of money. You know, the price had just increased. I believe it was when the price had increased by like 600 bucks. That's another thing. The price increases every single year by a ridiculous amount, and the bad thing is that people keep buying them, so they totally get away with it. It makes people even buy them more. Like, I know, like right now at both of my Chanel boutiques, there's like a wait list that has like 40 people on it for this exact bag in the new one. I mean, not the gold, but not the gold plated, but you know what I mean. It's just ridiculous. And you know, people are paying that because they're trying to squeeze it in before the next price increase, which no one knows when that's going to be. So on the other hand, these are an investment. Not just to justify it, but I'm not saying go out and invest in this bag, but I'm just saying, like, if you are gonna make a big purchase and you are saving towards this, or you're planning towards this, that's something to think about too. I mean, you could sell it in 5 years and probably double your money. I mean, just to be honest with you, they always hold their value if you take care of it. So about the whole like gold plating and all that, and how I came about this one. I don't recommend, like, I'm a big eBay person. I love buying things on eBay. I feel like you have to be smart about things. You have to really know what you're looking for. You can't just go and like blindly shop. There's so many. eBay is a good place, but it's also a very like gritty place behind the scenes, because there's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like I said, I'm not encouraging you to do that on eBay, because that's just something that I've always kind of stayed away from with huge purchases. But this sort of just worked out, and you know, especially after I learned about that gold-plated hardware thing, it was like there was no way I was gonna buy one that didn't have that, and the only way I could get one was to buy one pre-owned. So you have to really know what you're looking for. As far as like telling, I am like kind of an expert, and I know that sounds crazy. Like, I know so many crazy things, like just because I've looked at these for so many years, and I've like done research online, and I've looked at so many like through eBay or through this or through that. I've never brought myself to buy one though that was used, because you think, oh wow, you know, they're 4,900 bucks in the store. That'd be like 5,200 bucks with tax roughly. Oh, I can find one for $3,500. What a steal. It's a little used, no big deal. 3,500 bucks is still a lot of money, so don't settle for something that looks used and still pay a fortune. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're never gonna find the exact one that I have, you know what I mean? So it's hard to recommend because you just never know what you're gonna find. That being said, know exactly what you want. If you want a single flap, don't go and spend the money on a double one. Really hold out until you find a good one. I wouldn't ever settle and spend a penny of money for something that I don't want. So even if it's a Chanel bag or something super nice, wait and hold out and get what you want. Don't go to eBay and say, oh, well, this is what they got. Let me see if I can find one. Keep checking. I mean, I looked for months. Like, this has been like years of me trying to find not that I've been like actively searching, but you know, here and there when I look and I know what I want in my mind, I feel like it'll happen. You'll eventually find the one that you want. That being said, if you like the ones that are currently in the store, it's not always a good idea to try to say, hey, I can save a couple $100 and buy it online, because you are taking a risk. You don't know always where it's coming from. You don't know if those are fake photos. You don't know. I mean, there are ways to find out, and you can be diligent. You can ask for more photos. You can do a lot of different things, you know, see their history. And if they're selling a ton of Chanel bags, that's always a red flag. Anyone that I would even ever consider buying from, it's usually just they're selling, you know, maybe a couple handful of items that are, you know, maybe nice shoes or nice clothes, and then like one Chanel bag, and you know, like, okay, there's nothing fishy going on here. Still, there could be, so it's just hard to recommend. That being said, you can also go to, there's a lot of like websites that have like serial number databases, and it will show you like the coding for the serial numbers, like what year it comes from. See if that matches up with their story of when they bought it. Even the stickers, the hologram stickers that are tiny inside the bag. Ones that are from certain years may have a bar on the side, some may not. Some of the fonts may look different. I mean, it's all very, like, it's all very like a puzzle that you can put together. So when I saw this one, I found it on eBay, and I started talking back and forth to the girl. And I asked her a ton of questions. She sent me more pictures. It was a good price. I saved about $2,000 on it, which even so, it was a lot of money. But I do feel like I got a good deal considering there's absolutely no wear on the bag. Whoever had this took such good care of it. I've touched these, and I mean, I know enough about these to know when I opened it, I just like, you know, I was just so excited. And of course, you know, not because I didn't think it was authentic. It had been authenticated on the purse forum. I had the box, I had everything that came with it originally, and I just kind of knew. But I ended up going to the Chanel boutique, not to authenticate it, but I just went in and had it, you know, and I was looking at some of the other bags that they had, and I was just kind of comparing, and the sales associate was like, oh my gosh, and she knew what it was, she knew about the gold plating, and she really liked looking at it. And then I looked at it compared to a new one that was exactly like this, the double flat version. Side by side, they look exactly the same. Like I said, the C's are flatter, and the tone of the gold is a bit like more real looking on this. More of like a yellowy real gold. But the leather on this one felt a lot softer. The bag isn't worn in at all, so that's not where the softness comes from. It's just the feel of it feels softer. Some of the new ones feel almost like rubbery or plasticky. Like the caviar is very hard, and she did say that they have different leather now. So a lot of people, that's why they also like to buy vintage, because a lot of times it can be made nice. I mean, you just never know. But if you want one that they currently sell, I would say to just save your money and buy one from a store so that you know what you're getting. If you're going to make that sort of investment anyways, it may not be worth it to save a couple $100 and take such a big risk. So anyways, back to the story of the bag. I found it on eBay, talked to the girl a whole lot about it, and then she directed me to Vaunt, which is a site that I believe was opened by the owners of Gilt. And it's a sort of like a high-end eBay, but it's not bidding. It's like people put really high-end items that are all authentic, that's very professional. It's not like gritty photos or anything weird. The website authenticates everything. It's just a very reputable site. It's stylists. There's like a whole list of the type of people that they sell from. I believe to sell you have to even like fill out this. I mean, it's weird. And then I don't think anyone can join. I think it's something that's a little, I don't know. But anyway, so we talked back and forth. I ended up getting it, and it came, and it was just perfect. I felt comfortable with this situation. I can't give you advice really on what to feel comfortable with, or you just really have to know and do your research, and don't rush into anything. If you're on eBay and you know, hey, I have this much money to spend, I'm gonna look for this bag, and then you see like a nude one, or one that you didn't want like necessarily, one that you weren't looking for in like a different color, and it's cheaper, and you think, oh, that's a great deal, I'll get that one. Don't be sucked into that. Just stick to your guns, get what you want, because at the end of the day, it's a big purchase. And yeah, so anyways, this is what the bag looks like. I know that's just a ton to talk about, but from the side, the leather isn't as poofy. It's a little more quilted on the front and the back. The only difference with this one and the double flap is that on the double flap, you can maybe see it a little from the side, but I don't think, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It still looks pretty much the same. It's got the big flap on the back, or the big pocket, but even the hardware was in like really good shape on this, and the chains feel new. Even the girl commented at the Chanel boutique, she was like, wow, this is in great shape to be like from 2009. But I feel like, you know, I'm obviously gonna take good care of it, so I know it'll last and all that good stuff. So inside of it, it's hard to see, but you can see the Chanel little thing, and then the two pockets, and then there's a zipper. It's hard to show exactly, but even just this stitch on the side, and the way the zipper pulls look, and obviously the little tag which is stuck in there that I can't really see on camera. It's just things like that that really that you gotta look for. Always look for someone that's selling it with the box and, you know, all the original stuff. The little authentication card, that feels like a credit card. It doesn't have any sort of rainbow around it. It's just gold. It's just, there's so many different things, and I'm not going to get into like, you know, oh, how to tell an authentic Chanel bag, because I could, and it would be like, but I don't want to be like responsible if anybody like followed my advice and then got like screwed over by someone. But yeah, it's just, you got to kind of like learn about them, look at different things online. Go to the Chanel, if you have a Chanel near you, or you can, you know, go to one, I would say go and actually look at the bags in person. So that especially you know what size you want. And like I said, you know, if you're going to spend that kind of money anyways, if they sell one that you like, I would just probably get it from the store. But like I said, the prices go up and it is getting ridiculous. You know, she even told me they could regild the hardware, and you know, if anything ever goes wrong with it, you can always, you know, they'll always help you. So I think that's kind of neat. Sort of like just like Louis Vuitton. Like if anything goes wrong, you can bring the bag and they'll fix it and they'll help you. And so I think that matters, and especially if you're going to keep a bag for life. But I am so excited about this. I'm really proud of it. I want to think if there's anything else to say about it. Just be very careful. Like I said, this isn't a video like encouraging you to buy previously owned things on eBay or anything like that. One more thing before I let you go. I think I mentioned this, but I'm just going to reiterate it again. It's my biggest tip. Don't get sucked into the fact that, you know, you're saving a little bit of money and, oh, it's previously owned, it's going to show a little bit of wear. I would not pay that amount of money for something that looks used, even if you are, you know, by comparison of what they cost new, saving a little bit of money. I would not pay for anything that looked used. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So you gotta just be picky and, you know, ask for photos of the corners. That's the biggest thing where these bags show wear is the corners. And, you know, every single one is just like perfect. And I feel like this isn't me saying like, wow, look at what a great, you know, perfect deal I got on this bag. But hopefully it will kind of inspire you to hold out for what you really want. Now, plan for something like this. If it's not in the cards right now, you know, think I'll get one. You know, I'll get one in a couple years. I'll get one when I can. It's not a big deal. But, you know, don't let purses or shoes or anything, you know, make you upset or feel like you have to have it or anything like that. But this is just something that I had been looking at for so long, and it's just so exciting to finally have one and know that it's a special one and it's something that's different. So that's what I love. And there are so many pretty, you know, vintage ones. I think a lot of the vintage ones with the flat C's are so much prettier. But I knew I wanted this more like, you know, the newer shape of the, you feel me. I'll show you what it looks like on. I did just film my hourglass video, and I had my outfit of the day. And then I put my sweatpants on because it's going to be a couple hours before we leave, and I didn't want to sit around the house in my new jeans and like stretch them out. I'm just so weird about that. So here's what it looks like. I think this is a perfect size. This is called the jumbo. There is one called medium large. That's one bag. It's called the medium large. And it's quite small in comparison. I think it would be too small for me. I wanted this size because I'm not the type that's going to go out and buy like a ton of Chanel bags. This is like a classic one that I will not need any other ones. It's big enough to where you could go shopping and carry it sort of like as a daily tote. This looks so bizarre. What am I doing with the... But then it also is small enough to where you could carry it out to dinner. You could have on a cocktail dress and still look nice without looking like you're carrying like a briefcase or something really huge. There is a size larger than this that is called the maxi. The flap looks a little longer, but it's the same general like silhouette. So I'm really proud of this. I will show you, the video is way too long. I was going to show you what I use on it, like cleaner and leather care and stuff, which is what I use on my other bags. If you guys want to see a video on the review of my Louis Vuitton Luminous PM, let me know, because I have had that bag for almost a year, over a year now. And I could probably provide a really good review on it. And people always talk about it and always ask about that bag. And it's not a bag that you see a lot. So if you wanted me to review it or you wanted more information about it, let me know. And I will do that video maybe next week. Just sort of like as an extra video. So just let me know. But yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to see the one on my Louis Vuitton, the Luminous PM. And I will see you soon. Bye.